Hello everyone, Joshua Myers here, and today I'm going to be reviewing something quite different from my 31 Days of Halloween review series. I've never really done anything like this before. I've done something, of course I've reviewed children's horror / children's Halloween type movies last year, but this is kind of different in the fact that it's not a movie I'm reviewing. It's a TV special that premiered on Cartoon Network like all the way back like years ago, like decades ago. And it's one I remember seeing as a kid at the time, and I did remember liking it at the time, so I thought I'd, revisit it for my 31 Days of Halloween review series. And so I guess there's a bit of nostalgia with this specific special, because I remember watching it as a kid, I remember loving it as a kid, and that's Scary Godmother Halloween Spooktakular from 2003.
This Halloween, take a wild ride to the frightfully funny side with the biggest Halloween adventure ever, Scary Godmother Halloween Spooktakular. It's a spooktacular journey to a whole new world of kooky monsters, silly skeletons, and hilarious fun. Join Hannah on Halloween night as she is whisked away by her scary godmother to the best Halloween party ever. Scary Godmother Halloween Spooktakular is loads of fun for the whole family. Available on DVD and VHS September 14th.
Scary Godmother Halloween Spooktakular stars Gary Chalk, Alex Doddick, I think that's how you pronounce it, if not, there it is on the screen, Britt Irvin, Scott McNeil, Tabitha St. Germain, I think that's her name, if not, there it is on the screen, and it's directed by Ezekiel Norton. The plot of Scary Godmother Halloween Spooktakular is that it follows the first trick-or-treating adventure of Hannah Marie, a young girl whose older, rotten cousin is babysitting her on one dark Halloween night. Unhappy to be saddled with Hannah, her cousin Jimmy cooks up a scheme to frighten her. But his scheme backfires when Hannah gets help from her scary godmother. Scary Godmother takes Hannah to her realm of the Fright Side, where they throw the best Halloween party in all Frightdom. At the party, Hannah is introduced to all sorts of colorful characters and realizes that not all monsters are not all mean, and enlists her new friend to teach her cousin a lesson. Before I get into my positives, again, like I said, I do actually remember this special. I watched it when it first came out on Cartoon Network back in 2003. I was pretty young, so I was within still the age demographic this special was going for. And again, I just felt like I wanted to revisit this because it's been ages since I've seen it in its entirety, and I wanted to see if it would hold up for, even adults. Actually, one positive I could say about this Halloween special is I actually did like some of the voice casts. Actually, the ones that come to mind that I did like were whoever they got to voice the Scary Godmother, and whoever they got to voice Hannah's cousin Jimmy. I think it's not that bad of a job. It's not the best voice acting I've ever seen or anything like that, but for kids' Halloween special, it was actually not bad. There's actually one funny joke in this movie, one that I can think of that actually I did laugh with revisiting it, and it's when they decide to order pizza for the party, and the pizza delivery man, who's a skeleton, comes in, and it's like, this I could just show you here.
Oh, Brothers Pizza, you buy, we fly. Here's your order, Scary Godmother. That'll be $197. Tip not included.
$200 in pizza?
Sure. 12 extra larges at $16 each. Of course, you could overside for it.
No.
That was actually legit funny, actually. That was the only one, like, joke that I actually, you know, chuckled at. Other than that, those are probably my only positives that I actually do like with this special. For one, the animation is interesting, in a not so good kind of way. I mean, if you just look here, the animation, like, if you've seen Doug Walker's Nostalgia Critic review of this special, you would know that basically what he said was that it's kind of odd in the sense that, because in most traditional animation, like, the characters have like this outline and everything, and the backgrounds have to be smoothed and blurred so that the characters in the foreground, you know, stand out. But they kind of seem to switch that around with this special for some reason. Like, instead of like the characters having the lines and the backgrounds being smooth and blurred, it's the exact opposite. The characters are the ones who are smooth and blurred, and the backgrounds have the lines. It kind of creates an odd, you know, animation. And not only that too, just in general, the animation isn't good. There's times where it's like really choppy. Like, seriously, there's times with certain movement, like for example, there's a scene early on in the special with Hannah, and she gets scared, and then she waves a flashlight around, and it looks like, again, if you saw the Doug Walker Nostalgia Critic review for this, it's like basically they turned Hannah into malfunctioning Chuck E. Cheese animatronic, and that's what it looks like. And there's just other weird animation too. Like, there's sometimes, like for example, when the group of teen kids are laughing at the fact that they scared. Another negative I have is a specific character here, and it's the first monster outside of Scary Godmother that appears, that is introduced to Hannah, and that's what she calls her roommate, Scully, or aka Mr. Pennybones. And the reason he's on my negative is, well, just take a look for yourself.
A monster! That's no monster. It's just my broommate.
Oh my, Scary Godmother! Sorry to be so late, but I just had to get these old bones bleached for the party.
You look 300 years younger. Party? Sure, our Halloween party. Me and my broommates throw one every year. I like parties.
Oh, it is the spookiest Phantom Fest in the whole realm. Everyone will be there. It's practically a who's boo of monsters. And incidentally, boo are you?
Scully, I would like you to meet my new friend, Hannah. Hannah, this is Mr. Pettibone. He's our official skeleton in the closet.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, Miss Hannah.
Does everyone have a skeleton in their closet?
Almost everyone, little miss. I work in the closets of all the old houses, keeping their secrets and just rattling around. But when it comes to Halloween night, I love nothing more than to roll the bones at a good party.
Yep, that's right, folks. Scully here is being portrayed as a stereotypical flamboyant gay person. And this comes off as both rather offensive and unintentionally funny. Because it's like, it's so in your face about it that he's obviously gay. They never have him say, oh, I'm gay or anything like that, but they make it clear, this is meant to be a gay character here. And seriously, like, when he first popped up, it's like, one of the first lines that come out of his, I guess not mouth, because he doesn't have one, because it's a skeleton, is like, oh, my Scary Godmother, sorry to be so late, I just had to get these old bones bleached for the body. Like, no joke, that's how he sounds like. And you saw the clip, and you heard my voice, that's how he legit sounds and behaves and everything. It's like, and there's also a ton of gay jokes in this movie. Like, legitimately, the first thing that's said about Scully like when Scary Godmother introduces her to Scully, is she says this. And the gay jokes don't stop there, folks. It goes on throughout the entire movie whenever this character appears. And it's like they so know what they were doing here. They're not even trying to hide the fact that they know what they're doing here. And it's, again, kind of rather offensive, to be honest. Let me make this clear to you, Hollywood. Gay people typically don't talk and act like this. There's some that do, but honestly that's a minority of gay people who talk like and act like that. I have had several gay friends actually, and none of them talked or acted like that. In fact, if I didn't know they were gay, I would have not noticed, actually. I would have not noticed that, anyway, they seem like normal people. And I don't know what is it with Hollywood that thinks that all gay people are like this, and it just creates a rather offensive stereotype. I mean, that's the kind of reason why there's this stereotype, is because that's how Hollywood portrays gay people. There's some times where they get it right in that, but there's other times not so much, both in film industry and the television industry. Like a recent example of that I think that didn't work, and is just another one of the stereotypes, was the opening of Chapter 2. And it just came off as rather uncomfortable. Not in a good way. But anyway, enough about that rant. So, yeah, so we have these jokes here, and you know, I will say this, as a kid, I did not notice these gay innuendos in this movie. But now, watching it years later as an adult, I clearly tell that they're throwing it in your face. And when I was a kid, I did like Scully. I did like him. You know, I thought he was funny and everything when I was a kid, so I did like him. So, and if you think about it, Scully is probably one of the first few gay, you know, kids special or kids TV show character. Also, another negative I have here is the characters aren't really that interesting. I mean, the only characters that are kind of sort of interesting are the monster characters. Like, you got this fat, overeating werewolf named Harry. And I guess for kids was pretty funny, because I did find him funny when I was a kid. And then you got this vampire family, you know, with their kid, and they're kind of just generic type of vampires that you would think of, outside of their son who looks like a punk rocker, but that's about it, really. And there's, of course, obvious, you know, vampire pun jokes with them. Although there's one attempt at a joke that honestly is kind of odd, even for this special, and it's this.
So other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how did you enjoy the show?
That's right, folks. There is a Lincoln assassination joke in the special. I didn't notice that when I was a kid, but now as an adult, I'm like, okay, that's random and kind of out of place, even for this special. And also the music is very generic, Halloween-esque music. I think you could probably get it at any of like the royalty-free music downloadable sites. Also, the pacing of this film, like the pacing of this special, is just kind of all over the place. So it's supposed to be about you know eventually getting down to the party and that, and it's like it just intercuts between that and the group of kids, you know, that Hannah was with and that put them in the house. So, and not much really going on with that, and not much going on. A 2.5 out of 5 stars at the party. I mean, there's more stuff going on at the party than there are with the kids, but that's about it. So with that said, I'm going to give Scary Godmother, Halloween Spooktakular, a 2.5 out of 5 stars. Honestly, for me, the 2.5 is being generous, because it's based purely on nostalgia. Like, I did watch this as a kid around their targeted demographic, and I did really like it. And with that in mind, I think it is a pretty serviceable special for, you know, little kids, like around the ages of maybe like just anywhere between the ages of like 4 and 10 years old, I would say. I guess it would depend on the kid. So yeah, it's very serviceable. I do think there's some imagination going on behind this, and some imagery that I think for the most part is harmless for kids, because obviously I loved it as a kid. So, and I've always been a big fan of this month, October, even as a little kid. So I always would watch specials and watch Halloween related movies. It wasn't until I was like 13 I started watching horror films, and that's also become a part of not just a yearly thing for me, but especially around October. So yeah, I do have fond memories with this special. I know there was a sequel. I don't remember really much of anything about the sequel. So that's it for this review. Thank you guys for watching, and so other than that, Mrs. Lincoln, how did you enjoy the show?